I love Penn State. Met my wife there. It's my alma mater. Fan since I was born. I was born, I think, probably had a Penn State shirt when I was born. I love Pat Kraft. Um, and really sad to see Coach Franklin go. You know, when you think about what he did for my alma mater, see videos of people like yelling at his kids, and like I just don't understand why in our country, like well now, like coaches are villains. Like, you know how hard I worked in Carolina and the things that were said to me, or you know how hard I work here and some of the things that are said, our coaches work here, how hard Sat worked last year. So I'm just really sad about that part of it. And people say, well, you make a lot of money. Making a lot of money doesn't make your kids feel good when they're hearing that. Make a lot of money. It's nice to make a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but still people. So I really respect James Franklin. Troy and I are in unbelievable relationship too. And Troy and I are in constant communication about this program and where we're headed. I came here for two reasons. I love the community here and wanted to live here, and I love it here. Um, and I wanted to rebuild Nebraska football. And Troy and I understand the steps that you need to take to make us Big Ten champions and national champions. This place is elite, and I want to be a great father, and I want to be a great college football coach. And so, I'm not gonna talk a lot about job openings when they come. This is maybe it's been a while here, but this is what happens when you win. I've dealt with it. We've won at Temple, and I dealt with it all the time. I've dealt with Baylor. I'm not going to talk about those things ever. I'm not going to talk about my contract here. I'm going to talk about the team. But yeah, I absolutely love it here, and I want us to continue to take the steps needed for us to turn this thing into a beast.
All right, we're here with former Husker Jay Moore and Husker Online's Sean Callahan. It's been all the way since Bo, when every year it was like he was talking about another team, or maybe there was rumors about Penn State or going to Kentucky or wherever else. Yep. It has been a while, but what are your thoughts about listening to Coach and knowing the job's open?
Yeah, obviously when Franklin's the word got out Sunday afternoon that he's fired, I'm like, well, here comes the news. And a little bit of, I don't know if I want to call it low-hanging fruit. Obviously, you got to be a little concerned as Nebraska fans just because of you connect the dots.
Yeah.
Obviously played at Penn State. Kraft was his AD at Temple. Good friends. You see all that. And knowing that he loves Penn State, you got to think if the job was offered, would he potentially go home back to Penn State? Maybe, maybe not. So yeah, a little concerned, but I do know that he does like it here. Yeah. I do know he does want to be here, and he wants to see this thing through, and he wants to make it work. I truly trust that he wants to turn this thing around, and that's what he goes to places and rebuilds it.
Yep.
And I know that's what he wants to do here, and I know he's going to do everything he can to rebuild it here. And I don't think the clips are in there, but his comments about rosters and dollars and all those things, I think he's going to use this to his advantage. But I also know he's going to have a hard decision to make, and potentially he gets offered. Don't know if he will, but yeah, it's the timing of it is never good. But like you said, if you win and you have great results, not only himself, but we saw it last year with Tony White and some other assistants. Other teams are going to come get him if you're good and you're good at what you do. Other teams are going to take interest and try to pluck you away. So not surprised. The timing of it just isn't great. But I think we've got to work through this and just kind of see how it all shakes out. But I do feel confident that he wants to be here. And at the end of the day, I still think he'll be the head coach even next year at Nebraska.
And the way the schedule looks and the way Nebraska legitimately could be 11-1 by the way the schedule's going, that would make it even more appetizing for a team to want to come get him.
Yeah, part of the evaluation for Matt Rhule and Penn State will be how will this team do over the next 6 games, because they just fired a guy that had success there.
Yep.
And they're not going to replace him with a guy that goes 7-5. I think for Nebraska, if they continue to play well, this thing is going to go deep into November. They're not going to announce a head coach at Penn State in October. There's going to be a lot of names up for it, whether it's Kirk Cignetti, Marcus Freeman, Manny Diaz. You go down the line, there's a lot of names that are going to be in the mix for this job. But Matt Rhule is arguably the one that makes as much sense as any because of the relationship to the athletic director and the relationship, obviously, with the school, being a Joe Paterno guy. And there is a certain long to kind of bring back that Paterno into their program.
Right.
And he's kind of that guy that aligns all those things. So that's what's scary if you're a Nebraska fan as you watch this play out.
I would say that, and I think we saw it here, going home is not always the best thing for you.
No,
it's
we
not
saw that.
always. Sometimes it's better to go off and make your name somewhere else. But you go to Penn State, it's not a rebuild. You go to Penn State, they're going to expect you to win a national championship.
Yeah, you're given the keys to a Lamborghini or Ferrari and say, don't crash it. Other places he's been, Temple, Baylor, Nebraska, it's here's a beat up car that's been through some stuff.
Yeah.
You got to rebuild the transmission, new paint job, new tires, new brakes. And he's been really good at that. He's been really good at orchestrating a total rebuild. And I think he's really close to getting that car back to running at all cylinders here at Nebraska. But that's definitely not the case. And does that fit what he wants? He's played there, take his history there, take the relationships he has there out of it. Is that what he wants to do? Does he? And I still think there's other things that's gone on at Penn State. Why, to me, I want to know you lost one game in overtime against a really good football team, and all of a sudden you collapse.
Yeah.
You lose at UCLA, and you just lost. I mean, you arguably lost to the worst. At the time, two worst teams in the Big Ten in back-to-back weeks, and Northwestern at home. I know your quarterback got hurt, but there's something else going on there to me internally that you lose one game, you're so fractured. So to me, I'd want to know the internal of that as well to see your culture of your program. But yeah, it's the time. Like I said, the time is not perfect, but I couldn't if he did take the job, I can't blame the guy. But I definitely want him to be here as long as possible.
Sean, we talk about all the connections to Penn State. His wife has a business, right? Obviously, his kids are in school. His son's at Nebraska. And he moved his parents down here. I know his dad helps coach at a church where a friend of mine's kid plays.
Yeah,
so everything's here for him right now.
Yeah, they own 3 properties and a business. And, so they are as deeply entrenched in this community, really, as any coach I've been around at Nebraska. I mean, you see them out and about at a lot of places. I mean, I have daughters that are the same age as his. They're swimming at my daughter's swim club. I mean, you see them around at places doing things. So yeah, their presence and his presence in the community is as strong as where like Bo Pelini was a guy that didn't really like the spotlight rule, and his family enjoy being a part of the community. Scott Frost, as we know, was not a big guy that liked to be out and about.
Right.
So that's what makes Rule unique. He's been as good at embracing Nebraska as any coach that we've been around.
So let's go to what got kind of buried. Was a great win over Maryland. They did something they hadn't done since, 2006 or what? No, excuse me. They haven't done it since the last time they won a game on the road where they had to score the last time. Goes all the way back to the touchdown that Tanner Lee threw to Stanley Morgan against Purdue, right?
2017.
In 2017. So they did that, but we're not talking about that. Let's talk about that now and talk about the offensive performance that Nebraska had.
Yeah, well, it was just, again, we've kind of seen this through the first couple games, get off to a good start.
Yep.
Some mistakes happen. Obviously, we saw the interceptions by Dillon, the pick 6. You saw it against Michigan State, Michigan, but this team just has the ability. I call it just that next play mentality.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what happened previously, they say next play. We made a mistake, sure, let's get it fixed, we can correct it. We're never out of this thing. They keep fighting, they keep swinging. And you got to love that mentality and the culture of this team right now. Because going forward, I don't care if it's Minnesota, Northwestern, whoever, these games are going to be close. They're going to be tough battles. And you got to keep fighting and keep battling. They did. And you get make plays on defense, you get the kick returns on special teams, and then boom, you get a chance to go down and win on the final drive, and they do that. But the thing is, defense came and won it as well.
Yep.
Nebraska's done that before. The defense took the opportunity to stop Washington in that really good offense that Maryland had, and got them that 4th down play, and the game's over. And we just haven't done that in a while, and that is nice to see, reassuring to see that a lot of all these games that Nebraska's been in the past, they've found ways to lose them, and now they're starting to find ways to win. And it's definitely something you can build on. 2
times this season, getting an offensive stop to end the game. Emmett Johnson, what a game, what a performance. And we talk a lot about needing another back, but in the meantime, he's 2nd in terms of total carries. He's like 4th in rushing. He's having a great year.
Yeah, how do you overcome a -3, have a running performance like Emmett Johnson, -3 turnovers for Nebraska, 176 yards, a career game. And Michael, I didn't know if there was a way Nebraska could get 200 sack-adjusted rush yards in a game,
right?
Just with the personnel. Emmett, I'm like, he can get you maybe 140, 150, but they got 200. And if they continue to have this kind of balance and get plays like this out of Emmett Johnson, they're going to be hard to beat because teams have not really respected Nebraska's run. They play the safeties very deep and dare Nebraska to run. And finally, we saw them take advantage of that. And the 50-yard run was one of the better runs that we've seen of a running back, maybe since Amir Abdullah. I mean, it was an outstanding play in the open field. He made 10 tacklers miss in this game, according to Dana Holgerson, which is an outstanding number. I don't know the last time Nebraska got a back do that in a game.
And not to dispute his, I have 11. That's how many I thought he
Pro Football Focus had 11.
I think
Dana
it was 11.
did 10.
Right, he says 10. That's fine. You brought up Amir Abdullah. Amir didn't have top end speed either, but he did the things that Emmett did. What about the wide receivers? Because they're not getting talked about enough, I don't think, this week, because they continually make big plays.
They do. I mean, Hunter, again, another huge game. Just saw the exact same tunnel screen play that we saw the week previously against Michigan State for the first touch on the game. And it's just, here you go. I mean, excellent. I mean, Pritchett, second level, just like he did against Michigan State. Great execution, except he has 2 shoes on this time.
That's
but, you know, again, back here, the fade route to Hunter, you know, the old head tap, as my son says, when you're watching these type of games, he gives you right there. So just good. And then you get Dane Key thrown in the mix, right? He makes a big one-handed play down in the slot fade for the game-winning touchdown. So you've had this. I mean, if Dylan maybe doesn't even catch his cleat on the ground, he might score there to get more air under it. But again, everyone's contributing. In years past, you just kind of had maybe one guy, 2 guys, but all your receivers are contributing. Tight ends.
Your tight ends.
Meyer, Harburg, big catches, big-time catches in high red zone. That's what you kind of thought this offense would become. You clean up those turnovers by the quarterback. I mean, they win that game much easily. But again, to have those weapons to take care of the things to do on the road and go on the road and win in that fashion, you can definitely build on that.
Yeah, the turnovers led to 17 points, so that's obviously a big difference. Offensive line, we talked a lot about adjustments. We're going against 2 of the best pass rushers in the Big Ten, and for the most part, they contained him.
Yeah, Elijah Pritchett hurt his foot in practice during the week, and he was actually listed questionable pregame, so they didn't know if he was going to play. And I know he's an easy target because the last couple of weeks he's given up some plays, but Pritchett battled, gave up a sack, then they made the move to Corcoran. They held in there, and the sacks were not as bad as we'd seen against Michigan, and Maryland was a team that led the country or led the conference in sacks per game. So I thought that was, considering Dylan Raiola dropped back a ton, in this game and had the 3 turnovers, but they did a really good job of doing what they needed to do in the run game too. I think Emmett Johnson made a lot of that himself happen. But I think this game will give them a lot of confidence moving forward.
You heard Holgerson say that too in the presser today. He said the run game was able to slow them down. He said he wished he kind of would have utilized this earlier in the year to help protect Dylan. So that's something when you get some good results like that, you can build off of that. And I would foresee Nebraska against Minnesota getting EJ home to his home state, continue to run that football to help Dylan and help this offense keep continuing to build like we saw against Maryland.
Let's go to the black shirts now. It wasn't the greatest performance. There wasn't a lot of havoc involved. They didn't get a lot of contact on Malik Washington, but in general, they made some really good plays. They tackled a little poorly. That was the one thing that you really...
Washington did a good job to get him in space. Nebraska kind of sat back there in some, deep zone coverages, passed it off decently, kept plays in front of them. Not a ton of big plays. I mean, Malik Washington put some balls in some great spots that only his wide receivers could catch. So, I was very impressed with him. But yeah, I think Nebraska played pretty basic. 3-4-man fronts, did not bring pressures a ton. Hit them, got to the quarterback once where they were able to get to Childs 5 times in the Michigan State game.
That was a huge play right there by McCullough.
But again, you kind of pick and choose your battles. I think they kind of said, let's see what this freshman quarterback can do. Let's force him to beat him with his arm. And I mean, this was the most passing yards this defense has given up all year. But he was good. But I think you heard Coach Butler even said he should have brought more pressure. Get this freshman a little more flustered. But again, you learn and you pick and choose your battles. But again, you come out to this, you did enough things to win on the road. But now you just got to, again, next game mentality now because they're coming off a short week heading to Minnesota.
Well, they limited their big plays, and in games earlier in the season when teams did blitz him, he made some big plays. So maybe he was a good mixture.
Again, pick and choose your battles,
yeah, exactly.
Right?
Let's talk about Nwaneri and that defensive line. We saw the sack by Petchak there, but Nwaneri's really impressing in the thing he's doing from game to game.
Yeah, I think he's created, I believe, 14 pressures in the last 2 weeks, which is as good as any player in the conference. Now, John Butler was quick to point out, I don't get into the hurry stats.
Sure.
I get into the sack and the QB hits. So I think that's the one missing piece. Can they get and hit the quarterback more? But when they were rushing just 4, Williams Nwaneri has become a real weapon for them, and what you had hoped he'd be. And I don't know if we could have predicted this quickly that he would get going, especially after the spring where it appeared maybe he was off to a slower start. But he's given them a real weapon along with McCullough on the edge, and they did a great job. Maryland had a good offensive line, though. I mean, I felt like their offensive line stood up for a lot of the day and made Nebraska really work for any type of pressure they got. And granted, they weren't blitzing, so the numbers were against them a little bit.
Got to affect the quarterback. That's what he said, and you got to do that for sure.